Magic sword! Make my twin brother grow! Hello, twin sister! Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages! I have the Mondo Masters Universe He-Man figure! First, I want to point out, this is awesome. Before I even open it up, I'm just loving the packaging. It looks very similar, somewhat to the Classics packaging, at least the original Classics packaging that came out from Matty Collector, but it still has its own take on it. As you can see, this is the jaw bridge for Castle Grayskull. On top, it just simply says Masters of the Universe, and on the bottom, it says Collector's Model, not suitable for children under 14 years, made in China, packaging illustrations, Florian Bertmer, packaging design, Brent Shash, I think, MondoTees.com. This top portion slides right off, and we have this incredibly cool image of He-Man. This really cool M Mondo exclusive seal. On the back, we have another very cool image that I think looks pretty badass. 1/6 scale collectible figure. There's going to be some people out there that have absolutely no wish to take this figure out of this packaging. However, that is not me, but if you choose to do so, this can be opened up so that we can see this incredibly cool imagery inside. A direct descendant of the legendary King Grayskull, Prince Adam of Eternia was chosen to protect his ancestors' power sword from evil by transforming into the most powerful man in the universe, He-Man. At first, he used a techno vest with a built-in force field to fight evil, but Adam has since learned to channel the energy of the elders directly from Grayskull's sword, fighting evil and protecting Eternia alongside the other heroic masters of the universe. He-Man, most powerful man in the universe. Okay, this is really awesome. I mean, really, I just absolutely love this. I've already gone on and on about the packaging. I think that's about enough. I think it's time I need to open this guy up. Oh my god, here he is. He is so incredibly awesome. He comes with a burby little figure. I mean, it is kind of cute, and it comes with its own stand. Speaking of stands, he has his own as well in case anyone out there wants to display him in some sort of pose that you'd need to put a stand to hold him up. There's an alternate Skeletor head that came with this one, or what they're calling a portrait. This is for the Skeletor figure that's going to be coming out hopefully in the next couple of months, and I'm going to be able to use this to see what Skeletor once looked like in the original mini-comics. Speaking of quote-unquote portraits, we have the original He-Man head that I'll show what that looks like displayed on him in a minute. There's a couple different alternate hands you can attach to him, which I can understand why a couple of them, like this one in particular, sometimes people want to have their figures as if they're punching. However, I want my figure to be able to hold his weapons, so I'm probably not going to display these. But there's also the other hands where it's like they're kind of like that whole gripping with one finger out thing. He comes with a short sword where if you look at it closely, there are actual indentations in it. I love the attention to detail that they did. A rifle blaster, which is pretty cool. However, I'm probably just going to put this in a bag and put it to the side. There's also a hand blaster that came with this. His badass battle axe, which you have to love the detail again they put in this. And the end here is fairly sharp. Speaking of detail, look at this shield. It's massive, and I love the dark tone of the coloring with the metal. Even the underside is really cool, which I think is awesome. Although one little complaint that I have is that he has a handle that comes separate so that you can attach the hand directly to it. The problem is this handle comes out very, very easily. It took me a minute to figure out what this was even for. When I did figure it out, I realized, oh wait a minute, I can put this in, but it pops out super simple. Finally, he has a sheath that has his power sword, the Sword of Grayskull, whatever it is you want to call it. First, look at the sheath. I love how they did this. Look at the bottom of this. Oh my god, it's Battle Cat. This sword is awesome. Look at this. Also, look at the handle. We have a skull at the end. Oh my god, is that supposed to be Castle Grayskull? So let's look at He-Man himself. I mean, I have to say I'm impressed with this. I love it. There are a couple little issues that I'll describe here and there. The first of which I already told you about, which has to do with the shield. His leather chest strap, I think, is done really well. His arm bracers are not a part of his body. You can take these off if you chose to do so, which, simple like this, and let me put in a fist so you can see what that would look like, and then bam, you got Fisting He-Man. I'm not going to use that. A view from the back, another accessory that is movable or removable, depending on what you choose to do, is his belt. Some fans were upset that we're getting a leather skirt as opposed to a furry underwear. However, if you lift this up, you can see that there is furry underwear. It's not really furry, but still, we get the legendary furry underwear that He-Man has had in the past. And he also has that metal belt thing that he wears. His leather strap boots are also furry. Oh my god, that ass. As I said, you can take his head off fairly easy, but let me show you a close-up of this. I'm happy with this sculpt, and I like how it looks. Look at his eyes. They're really beautiful. Some people aren't too happy with it, and they want to display him with the original He-Man head, which is fine. I'm not personally a fan of it, but let me show you what it looks like. There. I don't know, it just seems like it's out of place in my personal opinion, so I'm gonna probably use this one instead. Let me show a close-up of his chest emblem. Again, like I said, I'm really liking this. Some others wanted just a pure-on silver-looking leather strap, but I like it this way more. Alright, let's take off a Fisting He-Man. Put this back on here. Put this here. And let's put his sword in his hand, which I probably should have done that beforehand, just to make it easier. Going to do that, and bam, bada bing. Do this. I haven't actually tried this yet, but can this fit in there? No, it cannot. No, it'll break if I do that. Dang it. Okay, so we're gonna just leave it like this for the time being, so you can see what He-Man looks like with his legendary sword of power and his awesome shield that is not depicted as often as it should be in the cartoon series, but I always thought it should be. Still, I really like this. Now, you can put the stand in the back if you want, but I feel like he stands up on his own, pretty good. More than likely, what I'm going to end up doing is have his sword put to the side and put into the sheath, which, here's one of the little issues that I have with this, is you have two different areas where you can attach this to his harness, which is great, but sometimes these things come out fairly simple, and if you're not too careful with it, it's going to pop off, and kind of like how it did right there. I may end up putting a little drop of super glue on here just to hold it in place, so wherever I put this on his harness, it won't pop out. And again, just moving this around, I'm probably going to put a couple drops of super glue right here as well, because again, this just popped right off. Let's go through He-Man's articulation. He has movement in his head, upper shoulder movement, bicep movement, very rigid elbow movement, of course wrist movement, mid-chest movement, waist movement, upper leg movement, knee movement, and ankle movement. I don't know if you can see it here, but he already has a scratch that came from his harness. I'm okay with it because chances are it's going to be covered up, but I know some other people out there would be upset if their figure was already scratched coming out of the packaging. Do I like this guy? Yeah, this is a great investment, and I'm really happy that I got him. He may not be for everyone, but me personally, I am glad that I pre-ordered this guy from Mondo Tees. Real quickly, here's a comparison of some of the other He-Men that have come out in the past, including the 1980s, the 2000 series, and the classics. Here's a comparison next to the She-Ra figure that came out a while back from San Diego Comic-Con, and I have to say, these guys are almost in line with each other. She's slightly taller on her stand, but if she were to be right next to him, I'd say this is a pretty good match. Now, granted, he is fairly huge and muscular, but he's always been depicted that way, so I think this is really awesome. So, closing remarks, I'm gonna say that I think I made a great investment with this guy. I'm a hardcore Masters Universe fan, so I'm liking him a lot. Some other fans are not liking him as much, but you know what? Everyone has different opinions, and I think that he turned out great. If you were interested in getting him, you had to pre-order him on mondotees.com. Now you can get him on third-party vendors such as Big Bad Toy Store, Amazon, or eBay. You will have to pay inflated prices, but that's just how it is. Anyways, let me go ahead and end this review. Thank you guys for watching me. Be sure to check out my Patreon site, check out my social media sites, my websites, and everything else out there. Peace, love, namaste, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.
I'm in love with a hero.
I'm hoping one day Mondo will start making some Princess of Power figures, particularly maybe Bo, just so that He-Man can have his boyfriend. Yes, I'm going there and I'm saying it.